Recently, I've been thinking about the stock market because, of course, everyone tells you to invest in life, and I currently have no money in it. But instead of using this knowledge to do something useful, I came up with a video idea. And I know I come up with a lot of video ideas, so this is nothing new, but I feel like this one's pretty golden. I recently have been looking back at Pokémon, not really for the games, but the cards instead. And I formed a question combining the two most greedy business practices: scalping and investing. See, the question I'm posing today is, how much would Pokemon affect the stock market? The first thing we should address is that we're going to be looking at Pokemon as if they've been in this world since the stock market was created, meaning that they weren't just like summoned randomly. This will allow us to see how the companies would have evolved with the stock market over time, and easily let us compare the companies in the game to their real-life counterparts, which we will do now. Starting off, we have several companies in the Pokemon world, and I've picked two of the biggest ones for us to compare to real-life counterparts. The reason we're comparing them is to see what the shares are, or how big the shares are really, because there's no way to really put a number on it since shares rapidly change. So instead, we're just going to look at how big the companies are as a whole, and from there, compare them to the Pokemon counterparts. The first one we're looking at is Pokétech, which is what gives us the ability to read about Pokemon in our inventories, see their health, and do a lot of other things like coin flips, roulette, and counting our steps. I think the best company we can compare this to is Apple, especially when looking at their Apple Watches, which allows you to do all of these things and look at a clock, a calculator, and of course, counting your steps. Now that we have found the equivalent to this, we can say that Apple has new competition. Another company that could be a huge competitor would be the Pokemon News Center, which reports on Pokemon and Pokeballs. The reason this could be bad news for our already existing news stations is because they already have experience reporting on things like Pokemon. Using this knowledge, we can infer that this news source would be around the same level of popularity as CNN, which basically means it could dominate the stock market. Now that we've looked at two major companies in Pokemon, let's look at what could be developed if they were brought to real life, starting with food. Now, as weird and disgusting as it sounds, Pokemon can be eaten. This is shown in the manga several times, where we can see Pokemon being turned into chicken tenders. With this knowledge, we could also say new fast food chains would probably open, and with that, new stocks. As we know, there are several fast food chains for burgers and chicken, but I have a feeling that one selling Torchic meat may do extra well.
Comes 2 thighs, 2 wings, 2 breasts, 1 carcass. A knife pierced back the skin, literally sliced through.
So, looking at the stock market for fast food places like McDonald's and Wendy's, we can infer that most of these Pokemon fast food places would also be enlisted into the investing game, meaning we could very well see several new fast food chains that sell Pokemon open shares. Besides food, we could see thousands of businesses open up, and most likely a new form of insurance, that being for Pokemon related injuries. See, there are several Pokemon that can do collateral damage to the environment, which could harm people in the process. With this knowledge, we could see insurance companies spring up, either offering new forms of insurance or just new companies altogether. Speaking of insurance, we should probably mention Pokemon fights. Many people compare them to animal cruelty, but if it goes in Pokemon, we will say it goes in real life. So we can assume a whole new sport will be created. This creates several job opportunities for construction companies who want to build the stadiums, jobs for coaches who would have to become experts in the field, and several opportunities for our third favorite greedy practice, sports gambling. While this doesn't directly affect the stock market, we could still see money being thrown around over this, certainly changing the economy. Now that we've discussed the main overall influence of Pokemon on the economy, let's narrow it down to the stock market. I believe that the stock market would have a huge overhaul, with several businesses opening up shares and pre-existing businesses having major increases and huge declines. The creation of new Pokemon-related insurance companies could also add many more areas for people to invest in. With that being said, I think Pokemon as a whole would have a huge influence on changing the stock market. While I compared the companies to their fictional counterparts, it's kind of hard to put an amount on them, of course, as I said earlier, because the stock market changes rapidly. But I believe by looking at the size of the companies we compared them to, it shows just how huge of an impact would be created if Pokemon were real. Remember, it would be fun to own a Charizard in real life, but the business side of it has some real ups and downs. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.